Welcome back. In this lecture, CHG 190, subject name Introduction to Solid State of Matter. Dear student, in the previous lecture, we have seen magnetic properties of superconductors and classification of superconductors. In present lecture, we learn the next point in this superconductivity chapter, that is high temperature superconductors. Now let us start our today's topics. High temperature superconductors. The high temperature superconductors represent a new class of materials which bear extraordinary superconducting and magnetic properties and great potential for wide-ranging technological applications. Whereas ordinary or metallic superconductors usually have transition temperature of about 30 Kelvin, that is minus 243.2 degrees Celsius, whereas high temperature superconductors have been observed with transition temperature as high as 138 Kelvin minus 135 degrees Celsius, called high critical temperature superconductors on the basis of critical temperature is greater than boiling temperature of liquid nitrogen. 77 Kelvin or minus 196 degrees Celsius. However, a number of materials including the original discovery and recently discovered superconductors had critical temperature below 77 Kelvin but are commonly referred to in publication as being in the high critical temperature class. Until recently, only certain compounds of copper and oxygen, so-called cuprate, were believed to have high temperature superconductors properties, and the term high temperature superconductor was used interchangeably with cuprate superconductor for compounds such as bismuth, strontium calcium copper oxide, that is BSCCO, and yttrium barium copper oxide, YbCO. However, several iron-based compounds are now known to be superconducting at a high temperature. This is all about high temperature superconductors. It is very important point in this superconductivity chapter. There is mainly two types we discuss here: cuprate and iron-based superconductors. Now, first is cuprates. Cuprate superconductors are generally considered to be quasi-two-dimensional materials with their superconducting properties determined by electron moving within weakly coupled copper oxide, that is CuO2 layers. Neighboring layers containing ions such as lanthanum, barium, strontium, or other atoms act to stabilize the structure and dope electrons or holes onto the copper oxide layers. The cuprate superconductors adopt a perovskite structure. Here in this figure, the cuprate superconductors shown, and here the bond length of B and A and C are shown. The copper oxide planes are checkerboard lattice with square of O2 minus oxide ions with a copper 2 plus ion at the center of each square. The unit cell is rotated by 45 degree form these square. Chemical formula of superconducting materials generally contain fractional number to describe the doping required for superconductivity. There are several families of cuprate superconductors, and they can be categorized by the elements they contain and the number of adjacent copper oxide layers in each superconducting block. For example, YbCO and BsCCO can alternatively be referred to as Y123 and Bi2201, Bi2212, Bi2223, depending on the number of layers in each superconducting block. Cuprate superconducting materials Hg, Ba twice, Ca twice, copper thrice, OX, oxalato group, having critical temperature 133 Kelvin. Then next is Di2, strontium 2, calcium twice, copper thrice, O 10. Here this at the base this 10 to this number is as at the base, that is commonly known as BsCCO, critical temperature 110 Kelvin. And next cuprate superconducting material is YBa twice, copper thrice, O7, that is YbCO, having critical temperature 92 Kelvin. If you see all these material, that is cuprate superconducting materials, their critical temperature is more 110 Kelvin, here 92 Kelvin, and in this case that is 133 Kelvin. Here the cuprate superconductors perovskite structure for compound AbO3 such as CaTiO3. This shows A, this small round shows B, and this big round shows O. This is perovskite type of structure of cuprate superconductors. Here in this figure 9.7, AB type cell for the AbO3 perovskite structure of cuprate superconductors. This is also figure 9.8. This is 9.8a, this 9.8b, and this 9.8c and d. In figure 9.8, the structure of 1, 2, 3, A, the metal positions, B, an idealized unit cell of the hypothetical YBa2 copper thrice O9 based on 3 perovskite A type unit cell, and this C, an idealized structure of YBa2 copper thrice O7-X, and this D, the structure of YBa twice copper thrice O7 showing a copper oxygen planes formed by the bases of the pyramids with the copper oxygen diamond in between. These all are the cuprate superconducting materials with different superconducting materials. This figure 9.9 also cuprate superconducting materials. The structure of HgBa twice, copper calcium twice, copper thrice O8, showing copper oxygen diamond between the calcium layer. This structure showing copper oxygen diamond between the calcium layer and the copper oxygen layers forming the basis of the pyramids. The apices of the pyramids are in the barium oxygen layers in the superconductors Hg08, Ti02, 0.8, Hg0.8, Ti 0.2, B8 twice, barium twice, calcium twice, copper thrice, O8 plus 0.33. This one-fifth of the Hg2 plus ions are replaced by titanium 3 plus ions, and there are additional oxygen ions in the mercury layer. This is all about the cuprate superconducting material. Next important is iron based superconductors. Iron based superconductors contain layers of iron and nitrogen such as arsenic or phosphorus or chalcogen. This is currently the family with the second highest critical temperature behind the cuprates. Most undoped iron-based superconductors show a tetragonal orthorhombic structural phase transition followed at lower temperature by magnetic ordering, similar to the cuprate superconductors. However, they are pure metals. Here, these are the iron-based superconductors. This is crystal structure of euphorbium Fe twice, As arsenic 0.73, polonium phosphorus 0.27 twice. This is dark blue circle shows euphorbium. This pinkish circle show arsenic and phosphorus, and this gray circle shows iron. This is the crystal structure of euphorbium Fe twice in bracket arsenic 0.73, phosphorus 0.27 twice. This is ferromagnetic layer, superconducting layer, ferromagnetic layer, again superconducting layer, and again last ferromagnetic layer. Interest in these superconducting properties began in 2006 with the discovery of superconductivity in lanthanum FePO at 4 Kelvin, and gained interest much greater attention in 2008 after the analogous material lanthanum Fe arsenic. Lanthanum iron arsenide was found to superconduct up to 43 Kelvin under pressure. Lanthanum iron arsenide with critical temperature up to 56 Kelvin, a fluoride variant of these materials was subsequently found with similar critical temperature values. Barium and potassium Fe twice, barium, potassium Fe twice, arsenic twice, and related materials. With pair of iron arsenide layers, critical temperature values range up to 38 Kelvin. These materials also superconduct when iron is replaced with cobalt. Lithium iron arsenide and sodium iron arsenide with critical temperature up to around 20 Kelvin. These materials superconduct close to stoichiometric composition. This is all about the iron-based superconductors. Here in this figure, the structure of samarium Fe arsenide oxide, that is iron-based superconductors. The iron and arsenide atom form a closely packed layer with the iron atoms at the center Above and below this layer are samarium ions, and above and below these are oxide layers. Other materials referred as high temperature superconductors. Magnesium diboride is occasionally referred to as a high temperature superconductor because its critical temperature value of 39 Kelvin. Fullerene superconductors, where alkali metal atoms are intercalated into carbon 60 molecules, show superconductivity at temperature up to 38 Kelvin. Some organic superconductors and heavy fermion compounds are considered to be high temperature superconductors because of their high critical temperature values relative to their Fermi energy. Despite the critical temperature values being lower than for many conventional superconductors. These are the other materials referred as high temperature superconductors. Next is the theory of high critical temperature superconductors. The general argument unity is that in common with the conventional superconductors, high temperature superconductors contain copper pairs, but a difference occur in the pair form. The Cooper pairs in conventional superconductors couple to give a total angular momentum of 0 and are described by an order parameter S-wave symmetry. In high temperature superconductors, the Cooper pairs couple to give non-zero angular momentum. Here in this high temperature superconductors, Cooper pairs coupled to give non-zero angular momentum and are described by an order parameter of d-wave symmetry. The pairing state in BCS theory does not need to be caused by electron-phonon interaction, and it is thought that pairing in the d state is due to antiferromagnetic spin fluctuations or electron-magnon coupling. Such a possibility had been examined by Cohen and Luttinger, who found that a weak collective residual attraction could be generated from the Coulomb repulsion between electrons, but only if the electrons in the Cooper pairs were prevented from close encounters. This could be achieved if the pair had an angular momentum, that is, if they were described by P or D waves. Their initial estimate of critical temperature in such a systems was very low, but it was hoped that higher temperature might be found in metals with strong spin fluctuations. Arsenic in BCS theory for conventional superconductors, the coupling is a collective property and the pairing is a dynamic process. Spin mediated coupling is far more effective in bringing about superconductivity in two dimensions than in three, and this may explain why high critical temperature superconductivity is found in quasi two-dimensional solids such as the cuprates. Experiments suggest that the quasi two-dimensional organic superconducting polymers are also D-wave superconductors. The presence of D-wave symmetry has been demonstrated in an elegant experiment using scanning tunneling microscopy (STM). Collaborates at Berkeley and Tokyo to measure differential tunneling conductance on a specimen of bismuth strontium calcium copper oxide with zinc atoms, replacing a small number of copper atoms. Differential tunneling conductance is proportional to the density of states available to electrons tunneling from the sample into the microscope tip. Microscope's tip. This should be zero within a defined energy above the highest occupied level known as the superconducting symmetry gap. For d-wave symmetry, the energy gap is zero in certain directions resembling the nodes of d orbital. The zinc atoms broke the superconducting pairs at their positions so that a conductance peak appeared at the positions of the zinc atoms. From the zinc position were lines of relatively high conductance in the direction of the nodes expected for the d-wave function. These are the all about theory of high critical temperature superconductors. Next and last is the application of high temperature superconductors. First application in the magnetic levitation, then power transmission, then superconducting magnets in generators, energy storage devices, next particle accelerators. Second last is the rotating machinery, and last application in the magnetic separators. These all are the applications of high temperature superconductors. This all about high temperature superconductors, their introduction, types, cuprate high temperature superconductors, iron based superconductors, then theory of high critical temperature superconductors, and last application of high temperature superconductors. This is the very important point in the superconductivity, that is high temperature superconductors. Now today I will stop here. Thank you.